When it was the Wolverine's turn, I had no idea what to do. So I went to Zoo Chat and Google Images again to find out how a habitat could look. And I stumbled upon this very picture over here, which is going to be the baseline for today's habitat. And while I was doing so and trying to record the episode, there happened something very awkward when I was trying to record the real-time part, but you'll see more about that later. So let's get going. But before you skip ahead, don't just do that. I have some very important Planet Zoo news, and honestly, these are super important when you play Planet Zoo and don't want to lose your save games. So, heads up here. Frontier has not managed to give a fix before Christmas because they couldn't fix it quite yet. The modular gift shop does cause some crashes and issues with some people. I fortunately don't have these issues, but it is confirmed by a lot of people that the game will eventually crash when you have the gift shop, modular gift shop in your file. Even worse than that, sometimes it won't even reload into the file, which basically breaks your save. So you will not be able to get into your game. So if you still are able to get into your game, make sure you have a save file without the modular shop in it. That would be very, very important. Otherwise, you're going to lose your file as long as Frontier's not fixing it for the moment. So, very important. Now, before we continue, here's the heads up as always. There will be the wonderful story about the Wolverines in today's voiceover. So, in the next coming 8-ish minutes, there will be the story placed somewhere, so make sure to watch the whole episode throughout. I have a lot of good things to tell. We are going to get into a Christmas mood together. I'm going to give you a bit of a heads up what's going on after Christmas, and also I'm going to tell you a bit of an insider to why I made this habitat the way it is. But thanks first of all for so many stories. The Wolverine was by far the most famous animal when it came to the stories. I had over 20 stories to pick from, every single one as great as the others, and there were so many lovely things involved in these stories. And involved, that wasn't an intended pun, by the way. Kane would be proud, I guess. Now, I grew to really love this format so much because you guys keep on commenting. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't seen last episode, which seemed to be like that because it kind of fell short a little from the other ones, make sure to do so, because the wild boar habitat turned out absolutely freaking amazing, and there was a little bit of a special thing in there, a little special trick how to do something festive for your animals. So if you want to see that, stop the video, go back, watch the other video first, and then come back here. If you for whatever reason stumbled upon this video without even having seen anything before, I highly recommend to start watching season 2 of Hirscheck on my channel to understand what we are doing, what all these stories are about, and why we're doing this. Before I'm gonna read out the story, which again is a beautiful one, I will now tell you a bit about the design. You've seen at the beginning of the episode I was getting some inspiration from Hirscheck, and as you can obviously understand, the video I had in the video was basically a little recording just to showcase what I'm doing. In general, when I do this research on ZooChat, it's a lot longer than this. I'm sitting down here scrolling through Google Images, ZooChat, and blah blah blah, and it turned out to be easier to go to Google and then type in the animal I want with the habitat and then put the word ZooChat afterwards. This gives me an easier approach to seeing proper images than searching on ZooChat directly, because the forum just doesn't really work that well for me. But yeah, so I found this very nice habitat carved into the mountainside, and this spot over here was actually screaming for it, This one was the proper spot in where I could really align this to the backside of the wolves habitat. And now with the Wolverine and the wolves on one hill, if you will, and there needs to be separation of these two specimens. They don't want to meet each other, It's not the best idea that they would meet. So we need some very decent security fences, because the wolves do have a bit more of a sanctuary. They have like a huge habitat. It's most likely the idea about the wolves was that this isn't even a habitat. It's just a separate region of this forest where the owners of Hirscheck have decided to put a fence, because otherwise the wolves would actually just walk into the zoo area or the reserve area and basically also frighten the people, which we certainly do not want. And because of that, I decided to go with the same idea and just put a fence also for the Wolverines, to not make sure that the Wolverines do not escape. That is obviously a nice side effect, you know. But the main reason behind that is to secure the Wolverines from what is behind, and that is the wolves. So it just all ties together. And I didn't necessarily make my life easy this time around with the angles of this habitat, because you will see, or you actually are already seeing on screen, that the idea I had was to really make something nice looking, that has a lot of different inclines, you know, left and right, curves upwards again, to really have this feeling of almost like a theater, you know. That is just kind of an amphitheater vibe going on here, just making sure everything kind of looks nice, and then just putting some rocks and stuff in to make it really look supernatural. Again, there's one thing I want to point out about this build before we are looking at this in a real-time part later. You'll definitely see that, but the main issue here is still that it should be even more overgrown than that. I'm very much focusing on still having a good sightline and seeing things. But to make screenshots and thumbnails and make the animals actually be visible, you can't really put that many trees in. And it's starting to really bug me that the lighting isn't really that amazing in the shadows, you know. I think this game has already a freaking awesome, a really awesome lighting. But when it comes to the display of shadows, it doesn't really shine. Sorry, yet again, not intended, okay? Anyways, to bring us back into the mood... Oh, by the way, before we start with the story, here is the lovely little backside area for the habitat, or another implied habitat area. This would be where the shelter for them is if there's like a storm or something like this coming. I thought it was a good idea to embed this actually in the backdrop of this habitat. Now, let's focus on the story of our two individuals in this habitat. I already spoiled that there will be two in here, but let's listen to the story. Raised and trained from birth, it was the hope that Jasper and Kara would be part of a new program that uses tame and trained wolverines to find and rescue lost people trapped under the snow. However, due to unforeseen circumstances, this was not to be. Due to being hand-raised, they were unable to be released into the wild. And after a lot of communication, Jasper and Kara, an unrelated bonded pair, found themselves here at Hirscheck in the hopes that they would live a happy life and have healthy offspring that would be released into the wild and bring more awareness of this often misunderstood animal. The story is from Tara White. I messed up the reading, sorry. I'm quite a bit tired, and it's already rather late today in terms of recording, so I had a bit of a stressy day, you know. Wrapping presents and stuff still is on my list, but I might just, you know, create a little bathroom cupboard and stuff like that. Just these typical things to do before Christmas, you know. I hope you guys also have wrapped your presents already and have everything ready so far, and, you know, all these things. But back to the story, I really love it. I love the idea that this is a bit of a different approach this time, so it's not like rescued from the nature or someone who's really bad, but actually a story of a very ambitious project that didn't work out. And I was really happy to read that, because I thought, okay, cool, that's actually a little bit of a change, something unheard so far. And so, Tara, big thanks for this story. I quite love the idea of having Kara and Jasper in here. That's also beautiful names. I do really like these names. And I have actually checked if that's a thing, but obviously these Wolverines have a pretty damn good snout, and they do smell quite a couple of things. So technically there is a good reason behind that story, and we don't have offspring quite yet, but maybe we do have offspring in the future, and that'll go back to the story that Kara just brought in, and I'm very happy. It's a very good story. It's a very good story. I think it fits beautifully to the vibe we are going for, and yeah, just in general, I am super duper happy. And that is I think this is the baseline of this project. Now, as this is the last video I'm going to release before Christmas Eve for most of you, there will be a video tomorrow most likely, but I'm not sure when you guys will be watching it. So let me already tell you that I wish all of you a happy Merry Christmas. I won't be saying that at the end of the real-time part. For whatever reason, I didn't think about that. So kudos to those of you who are in here. You deserve these wishes even more than others, because you haven't skipped. Or if you skipped here, you're lucky. You're just lucky, but then you have to stay with me now till the end of the episode, because otherwise your Christmas food will be cold when it arrives at your table. I told you this now, okay? Now, I'm wishing you all a wonderful time with your family, friends, or whoever you're going to celebrate it. Make sure to, you know, relax and chill down. And if you're not celebrating Christmas, I still wish you obviously a couple of nice days. I don't know if you do anything with your family, but hopefully you will be able to, you know, just relax a little. And if not, I've got plenty of videos that you can consume over this time. So yeah, we are wrapping this episode just as I will be wrapping some presents in a couple minutes, or not the episode, but the time-lapse part, as you can see, by putting a lot more flowers and stuff in. Don't really need to say too much about it, because it's basically the same as in the other habitats, making it very foresty, even though this one over here gets a bit more of a mountainish, hilly vibe. And then, yeah, we have to do some climbing frames, and, you know, there will be some more in. I did some more afterwards off screen, because I just fixed a couple of little minor issues in here that is too tedious to have in a time lapse. But yeah, here you go. Now meet the real-time Rudy again. I'm gonna guide you through the mishap of an escaping animal first, and then we will be meeting at the Wolverine habitat. See you there. Right, so remember when we last time excuse me, what the heck? This was not planned, my friend. Why are you jumping out of here? Why you want to be pet? Hello, come here. Let me just pet you real quick. Okay, well, have a good one. See you later then. Okay, so that was not planned, but that helps me that I will potentially need to put something in between there, like a mesh fence or something like that. Okay, anyways, we are here today for... What the heck? We are here today for this habitat in the back, and I have a feeling, my friends, that this is, again, a very, 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 very good... Have you seen? Those two had a good time, and then he's like, oh my god, I can't, I need to pee. Yeah, but there you go. This is the view towards the brand new Wolverine habitat. There is a little bit of a shelter over here for our wonderful guests if they want to go here. Look how lush it is. It's like very forest vibes going on here. Look how beautiful that all looks. Really do admire that. And if you go in here, you can have a little seat and, you know, just grab a drink or something like that. Very bare bone, but very simple as well. And then you have this wonderful, huge Wolverine habitat. I really am happy with how that turned out. It's rather simple at the beginning, but it just makes a huge difference. And the fences obviously are super large and so on, but they're mostly to keep the outside animals outside, rather the inside animals from getting outside. They are very nicely preserved, and there's also like this little water ditch here in front so that they can't get out to the front. There is like the background shelter here, an implied one. Inside of this one, and they also have like this tiny little hut here, and then they also have obviously their little caves and burrows, and yeah, that's just it. Very hard to get them into the view, but this is like how it is, right? How it is in real life too. You really have to wait and just hope that you can see them. There's a little wonderful tree in the front where they can climb. There is another tree here that they like to sit on. Really lovely. I'm just gonna speed up the whole game to see if they come out eventually. They have a little bit of a very standard-ish route that they are following, so not really sure what that exactly is. I just had the feeling recently in general that in this game the animals are a little bit less individual than they used to be. Like, they always have their little standard route that they keep following, which is a bit of a pity. I mean, you can change this by basically destroying their route and bring in something new, just like kind of make them not use that route anymore. But what I wanted to show you while we are at it, let me just change the weather to snow real quick and speed the whole thing up again. Oops, wrong button. There you go. Because it also just kind of looks super nice covered in snow. I really like this little mountain side here with snow. There you go. Look at that when the snow builds up. It's a lot brighter now, obviously, but just look at it. I think it gives these proper winter vibes that we only have in a game, because climate change will... oh, look at it. There is one. There is one. Look, in the background. So, as I said, this is super cool. You always need to really look into the habitat to see them, and then it becomes so much more of a good feeling once you see the animals, so not everything is just in your face. And I mean, that's part of zoo experience in general, like wildlife experience in general. They are not programmed. I mean, like in this game, they're literally programmed, but in real life, animals are not like programmed robots that will be wherever you need them to be. So, yeah, I'm just, again, mega happy. Look, there's another one. We've got two ones in here. There's one and the other one is in the back. Like, both of them are hiding behind this house. Let's try to follow them in the back. Yeah, that's so cool. Look, there you go. A little jump. yeah, what shall I say? I'm super happy with how that turned out. I'm super happy how this entire area is turning out. So this is the lake over here. We can oversee the lake. It's becoming a lot more lush now, a lot more nice looking. We are really inside of a forest, and this starts to be really becoming the vibe, you know. And yeah, I mean, they have a lot to climb, which they basically don't use. It is all traversable, it's all climbable for them, but they just refuse to climb. It's like they don't really have a climbing need. It's, yeah, it's the same issue as always, and potentially nothing that can be solved in this game. Oops. This is a weird way of moving, mate. Are you coming to this tree, by the way? Sometimes they just go down here to climb on that tree. Let's see if we can see them go onto that tree. Also, I love how they go down and up the... That looks pretty damn good. They've done a stellar job in making sure that this looks accurate. How they go up and down these little inclines. It's not even a little incline. That is very nicely done. I'm positively surprised over here how that looks. But as I said, they're following again yet the same route. It's a little bit weird. Let's go back to rain to see it in all weather conditions because it just kind of looks good. Also, I love the in-between. Oops, in between rain and snow. This is like so German. I don't know. It's so German. So there you go. This is like the rainy habitat. It still looks good though. One thing I want to admit is that it's not, again, not as lush as it should be. And while I'm speaking about this, let's go back to the normal weather mode to get this in-between lighting. Because, yeah, wait a sec. As soon as it's stopping to rain, it's almost the best lighting you can get. There you go. It's like still slightly wet and you know, have this haze in the air, but it still isn't. So I love that. This is some forest vibes going on over here. Look, there is the animal in the back. Oh, what a vista over here. What a wonderful vista. My goodness me, that looks fantastic. Let's just zoom out a little. Oh, there you go. Really happy with how this entire game just looks once you really nailed the style you were going for. But yeah, it's time to go out of this camera mode, go into the freelog camera and zoom out. So this, my friends, is the habitat, and just doesn't it look good? I'm really happy. Also, we have this little waterfall by this side. It's going to be covered a bit more nicer. It's not looking superbly nice at this moment. I will do a couple more things, but you can really tell how it's all coming together. But I just love doing that. So we don't really have that many gaps left, you know. As I said, I will potentially be done this year. So the next bigger project is going to be the Vicent over here. Bit of a backstage, you know, fixer-upper, nothing too fancy. And then this is that. This is our Hirscheck in this sense. And also, let me just change the time of day to a bit more of a there you go. Now we've got the bright colors. Like, I didn't change it because it's starting to be too much in the shade then. It's okay, you know, it's not too shabby. But it definitely could be better. And also, for whatever odd reasons, the performance is back, as you can tell. I don't know what exactly it is. Maybe this is a magic habitat over here with the wild boars. I don't know. But are they just still escaping over here all the time? I guess so, right? Because they're always put back in. Whatever. They will do this. Yeah, I did a bit of work in between, you know, to cover up these areas, to cover up the lakeside, as I was promising. Each habitat will add to the lake, and as soon as we are done entirely, this entire thing will look good. So the recent habitat next up will cover mostly this entire area. So this is then done, and the rest left off is with maybe the Arctic fox and something you guys also did suggest in here. But I can't really tell more about that. The only thing I can say, if you're still struggling to get these riverfronts nicely done, there is a tutorial for that, and you can find this to the top right now. So if you want to know how to make these riversides look really actually good and not as broken up as you sometimes think, make sure to check this video out. It's a very short one explaining how to do that, so I hope that's gonna help you. And now I can only say, have a wonderful Christmas, stay safe, and goodbye.